This is video lesson compare and contrast number 2. You should only be on this video lesson if you've completed compare and contrast number 1. So if you are in the right spot, if you've looked at your tracker and this is where you are, go ahead and continue, and we're going to start by taking notes. Comparing and contrasting. Review what you have learned about comparisons and contrasts. Remember that a comparison tells how two things are alike. And this is a very small space, so I have to write it a little bit small. But remember that a comparison tells how two things are alike, and a contrast tells how two things are different. In fiction, pay attention to the comparisons and contrasts that the narrator makes. Doing so will help you understand how various characters, settings, and events are alike and different. Use clue words to find comparisons and contrasts. Words that signal a comparison, we'll go ahead and write in comparison, include like, alike, also, to, both, same, similar, and similarly. Words that signal a contrast include unlike, but, however, different, although, and on the other hand. Make sure you have these notes before you move on to the reading. It says, read the following passage. As you read, look for comparisons and contrasts. Circle all of the clue words that you find. Okay, so we're going to be looking for both comparison clue words, like these up here, and contrast clue words, like these ones here. Okay, so let's go ahead and start reading. The Houston Astrodome was built in 1965. Most baseball stadiums had natural grass back then. However, here is a contrast word. Let's circle that. However, the Astrodome was different. Here is another clue word, different. It had artificial grass. And I see that word artificial is bold, so I know that this is a key term or important term. Artificial grass soon became popular for both professional sports and school sports. Like natural grass, I see a clue word, I'm going to circle it, like, and if you look up here, like is a comparison word. So we're comparing artificial grass to natural grass, and it is similar, or we compare it with the word like. It is like natural grass, it is green and soft. However, here's another clue word, however. So we were talking about how it's alike. When we use that word, however, that means we're going to tell the opposite how it's different. It does not need to be cut, watered, or fertilized. Also, here's another clue word. A field with artificial grass drains more quickly after rain, so it does not get muddy. Artificial grass is safer than real grass, too. There's another clue word. Let's circle that. Animals cannot dig it up and make holes that athletes could step into. Therefore, players do not get as many turned ankles and other injuries they might get on natural grass. Okay, so this paragraph is comparing, again, artificial grass with natural grass. So let's see what we're going to do next. It says, use the graphic organizer to compare and contrast artificial and natural grass. Write one fact that is true only of artificial grass in the right oval. In the middle section, write one fact that is true for both natural and artificial grass. Okay, so we've used these before. This is called a Venn diagram. Okay, so we have natural grass here, and one thing that's different about it is most stadiums had it in 1965. So now we need to come up with something that's different about artificial grass, and then we need to find a similarity, right? We need to make a comparison, how they are alike. So let's go ahead and go back to our clue. Here's that word different. Remember, we need something about it that's different. Okay, so this is talking about the Astrodome. We're not talking about artificial grass yet, so that's not what we need. Here's another different word, clue word, right? A contrast clue word. However, it does not need to be cut, watered, or fertilized. So let's go ahead and put that in our oval under artificial grass. It does not need to be cut, watered, or fertilized. Okay, now we need to find how they're similar, or how they, we need to do a comparison, which is how they are alike. Let's look for words that signify that. I see this word like. Like natural grass, it is green and soft. So both natural grass and artificial grass are green and soft. So we're going to write that in the middle where it says both. So they are both green and soft. Okay? Notice that I didn't put periods at the end of those because they are not complete sentences. All right, once you have your graphic organizer completed, you're ready to turn the page. Let's go ahead and look at how we're going to use what we learned. Read the passage, then answer the questions by identifying comparisons and contrasts. On a separate sheet of paper, make a graphic organizer to organize your thoughts. So we're not going to do it on a separate sheet of paper. We can do it right here at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and at this time draw a Venn diagram so that once I do my reading, I'll be able to organize my thoughts before answering my questions. All right, let's go ahead and read the passage and then answer the questions. Mom recently got a new job downtown. She had to decide whether to commute by train or car, so Dad and I planned an experiment to help her. Dad and I took the train, and Mom drove her car. Dad and I walked to the station and waited 10 minutes for the train to arrive, but Mom did not have to wait. Because she drove her car, she had the convenience of traveling on her own schedule. We all had to spend money to travel from home to the office. The train fare cost $3.80 per person. Mom did not have to pay a fare, but she did have to buy gas. She figured it would cost about $2.50 each day. She would also have to pay $2 for parking, which Dad and I did not have to do. The train ride was relaxing, allowing Dad and me to read the newspaper as we traveled. However, Mom's drive was not relaxing because she had to be alert the entire time. In total, Mom's drive took only 30 minutes. However, our ride lasted 45 minutes. Number 1. What is one way in which the narrator's trip is similar to Mom's? So that word similar, if we remember from our notes, means how it signals a comparison, meaning how are they alike. So let's go ahead and look and see what is similar between Mom's trip, and the narrator's trip. So remember that the narrator is probably her child, right? Because the narrator said Dad and I, and he refers to Mom as Mom. So the narrator and the dad's trip versus the mom's trip. So we want to look for clue words that would signify something similar, a comparison. So we're looking for words like similar, alike, like. I'm scanning. Do you guys see any? Maybe you could underline it or circle it if you do. I see the word but. That's a clue word, but that's for a contrast. So I'm going to underline it to let me come back to it later. So I'm scanning right now. Here's another but, so that's for how they're different. I'm going to keep scanning the article because I want to find something of how they're similar. Here we go. We all had to spend money to travel from home to the office. There's one way, one thing that was similar, both, right? Or we all. So we can circle we all. There's a comparison. We all had to spend money. So what is one way in which the narrator's trip is similar to Mom's? It would be right here, right? So I'm going to write down similar so that you know where to find your answer. One way, please answer in a complete sentence. One way in which the narrator's trip is similar to Mom's is that they both had to spend money to travel. Okay, go ahead and write it, push pause, write it in a complete sentence. Once you're done, you may restart the video and you're ready to go to question 2. Question 2, what is one advantage that driving the car has over taking the train? Okay, so advantage means that it's a benefit, right? It means something that is better about driving the car than taking the train. So let's go ahead and look. So I see these but words that we've already underlined. So I see, let's look at the first one. Dad and I walked to the station and waited 10 minutes for the train to arrive, but Mom did not have to wait. So that is an advantage. Mom did not have to wait, right? Dad and the narrator had to wait, but Mom did not. So she got to leave on her own time. So go ahead and answer number 2 in a complete sentence. The answer is right here. One advantage that driving a car has over taking the train is that you do not have to wait for the train, right? And it says in the very next sentence, because she drove her car, she had the convenience of traveling on her own schedule. Okay, so that goes with this advantage of not having to wait. Let's go ahead and look at number 3. Please make sure you paused and wrote down your answer in a complete sentence. And now you can move on to question number 3. In what way would taking the train be more enjoyable than driving the car? Okay, so taking the train. How could that be more enjoyable? I'm going to go ahead and look back in my passage and see if I can see anything that talks about it being enjoyable. I see this word in paragraph 3, relaxing. The train ride was relaxing, allowing Dad and me to read the newspaper as we traveled. Can you read a newspaper in a car? Let's read it and find out. However, Mom's drive was not relaxing because she had to be alert the entire time. So if you have to be alert, you cannot read the newspaper and you cannot be relaxed, right? So that is one way that taking the train would be more enjoyable than driving a car. So right here, I'm going to indicate that this is more, I'm going to put enjoyable so you know where to find your answer. Go ahead and when you're ready, you can hit pause and write your answer in a complete sentence. The way taking the train would be more enjoyable than driving the car is that you are able to relax and read the newspaper. Okay? Go ahead and hit pause and complete the question in a complete sentence. Once you are done with this, with writing your complete sentences, you are ready to take the quiz. Okay? The compare and contrast quiz looks like this. Do not forget to mark off on your checker that you've completed compare and contrast lesson 2. Take the quiz on the paper first, then go to your computer and look for compare and contrast quiz, submit your answers, and don't forget to correct it as you move on. Please don't worry about doing number 8. Remember that if you score less than 5, you do need to do lesson 3.